Hi, welcome to this week's Shush. Our theme is a little bit of an odd one, asking twice, but I'm going to explain what all that's about. But to begin with, let's get ourselves settled and still. If you want to just find a comfortable place on the chair that you're in, feel the back of the chair on your back, your bum on the seat, your feet on the ground, and just be present and be in this place. Allow all of the things that are flying around in you just to settle. Again, we've had another time where it feels like a snow globe has just been shaken up. When things have been up and down, very changeable, very uncertain, but in this time, let's just be aware that all of that is there, but just take a moment to settle and to be still. I saw a beautiful bird this morning as I came into to work, soaring on thermals, able to be above everything. The city was below her. And I liked the perspective. So just have a think about that for a moment. Rather than horrible blustery winds blowing everything around, you're just lightly gliding on the thermals, the currents of air. Able to look down and begin to see things with some perspective. Emily Dickinson talked about hope being a thing with feathers. That we can rise above where we are. Just take a moment to be settled and still and calm, just like that bird rising and soaring on the wind. Earlier this month was World Mental Health Day, and one of the features of that day was talking about asking twice. Then I might look you in the eye and say, "How are you?" And you might say, "Yeah, I'm fine." And asking twice is, "Well, how are you?" It's digging in and making sure that people had the space, the permission, the connections where they can share how they feel really, truly, honestly. So we want to think about that subject, and it's an important one because there's so much stigma still around many elements of mental health. And sometimes when we're uncomfortable about people who are experiencing a mental health challenge, we might turn away from having a relationship with them. But in doing that, the stigma just increases because suddenly you're distant from that person, so you don't know really how they're doing. You can't really see the changes, you can't see what they're living with. But then also for that person, they lose a sense of connection and they're more likely to need clinical or medical help because their senses of connection are less. So this just becomes an ongoing kind of cycle of stigma and disconnection. We can do a lot by crossing a simple little boundary and saying, "How are you?" asking twice is that commitment to love, and that's a very overused word. In Anna Karenina, Leo Tolstoy wrote this: "I think if it's true that there are many minds as well as many as heads, then there are many kinds of love as there are hearts." And there are different kinds of love, and one of them is that I'm willing to journey with you kind of love. It's rugged, it's committed, it's kind. Think about the people who you care for. Be grateful for them this morning. Being able to love is something that makes us human and that grows our well-being. But even there, you can see there are many types of love. So would you just take a moment to start with, to become aware of those people who you love and care for? Almost see their faces in your mind. Be grateful for them. Think about when you've seen them last, how they're doing. I'm going to read a couple of verses from a beautiful poem by Lem Sissay called Invisible Kisses. And it's about a relationship where a person wants to go alongside, to journey with somebody else and show them support and love and care, and it has many different kind of elements. And I want to read you the first couple of verses because I think they're beautiful, and I think they give off this idea of commitment and care. If there was ever one whom you, when you were sleeping, would wipe your tears, when in dreams you were weeping, would offer your time when others demand, whose love lay more infinite than grains of sand. If there was ever one to whom you could cry, who would gather each tear and blow it dry, who would offer help on the mountains of time, who would stop to let each sunset soothe the jaded mind. It's a great idea to be a sunset that soothes the jaded mind, to gather each tear and blow it dry. You've thought about those friends who you care for, who you love, who you're grateful for. Who within your friendship circle today could you reach out to and ask twice, are you okay? Who might you be able to be a sunset to soothe their jaded mind? Think of one person you could reach out to today to check they're all right, to offer support. Maybe you could do that practically. Bake them a cake. Maybe you could give them a text message. Suggest you meet up to have a Zoom and a drink and have a natter. Whatever feels right. Maybe old-fashioned. Send them a letter or a card. Reach out to them today and ask, how are you doing? The amazing thing, of course, is that as we reach out to other people, we ourselves grow. We are fed. Our well-being increases. Giving is one of those kind of 5 kind of ways of well-being that it feels a bit of a paradox, that as we give out, we ourselves receive. And sometimes we can give out too much, and sometimes, giving somebody isn't very easy and it becomes difficult. But so often that sense of generosity and giving grows our well-being, because why? We feel a sense of purpose. We are able to see that we've helped somebody, and that makes us feel good. But also there's this connection between helping others and caring for yourself. There's a famous line that the Greek philosopher Socrates said, "Know thyself." That's the famous bit, but the next line is probably more insightful. He says, "Know thyself, for once we know ourselves, we may learn how to care for others." There's this interesting dynamic that as I care for you, I am helped. But as I begin to understand and know myself, I know then how I can care for you. So I want to use the last part of this meditation to ask yourself twice, how are you doing? You might want to even do this with a piece of paper and a pen, but if not, in your mind, to reflect, how am I today? And we've mentioned before Carl Rogers' idea that the paradox is that the moment we then know and accept ourselves, then we might change. So this is so important, to be able to take our pulse of our well-being and say, how am I? I would encourage you to do this regularly, but for now, for these last few minutes, ask yourself, how am I? How am I doing? And ask yourself twice, be persistent. Don't let yourself just fob off with, well, there's only 2 minutes, 3 minutes and the meditation to go. I've got a busy day today. Just stick on this question and be honest with yourself. And maybe share that with a friend. So that's Shhh for another week. We hope that you're enjoying these sessions. You can check out all the previous ones on our YouTube channel as well if you want us to find those. But in the meantime, we hope you're safe. We hope those who are close to you are safe as well. Take care of yourselves. And we hope to see you really soon, but we're going to be back with another Shhh next week. Take care. Bye-bye.